Okay, in five, four, three, two, one. This week on Simulcast 233, we're talking about WWDC. Sprint is buying T-Mobile. Boo. Android 4.4.3 arrives, and the Amazon 3D phone may be coming on June the 18th. We'll talk about it all right here on the Simulcast. It is Wednesday, June the 4th. I'm Bill Stebbins, and you are listening to Simulcast 233. Patrick is here with me this week, and I have missed you, Patrick.
What's up, Bill?
We are back, people. I know I said
about?
that last time.
What are you talking about? We never left.
News of our demise was greatly exaggerated.
As it often is.
Yes. So, I apologize. It was my fault that we were off for the last couple months. If you don't follow me on Twitter, you probably should, because I'm super interesting, as is Patrick. I lost my father a couple months ago, and so I decided to take some time off so that I could, kind of deal with that and deal with all the things that kind of fell on me to handle. And I didn't want to, place all the burden on Patrick with the show, and I didn't want to, kind of half-ass the show. So now that I've kind of gotten things stabilized again, and Patrick had a bunch going on at work, we're back, and we are ready to talk about some tech. I have been dying to talk to somebody that would listen to me about tech and not roll their eyes, Patrick.
Yeah, it gets tired at work sometimes when people their eyes start glazing over. You can tell that after you start talking about anything beyond just basic level stuff, they just kind of go, uh-huh.
Yeah, about that.
So what about this new iPhone?
There is no new iPhone. Not yet, anyway.
Although I have to say, if even part of the rumors are true that are starting to come out from Foxconn, I might actually consider an iPhone as my second device.
I mean, it's gaining a ton of features. iOS 8 actually looks really nice, and you can say what they want or what you want about Apple stealing features or implementing them or whatever, but they're finally getting some of the things that make Android great into iOS, and hopefully that means that it'll be stable and still run well and not murder the battery. But we'll see.
I'm happy to see it looks like they're losing the 70s disco colors.
Yeah.
That hurt my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, but if anybody likes those colors on their phone, then
they're probably a teenage girl.
Yeah, I just don't understand that. I really don't. They probably also have a Hello Kitty case. All right, so iOS 8 was announced on Monday along with a bunch of other stuff. OS 10 Yosemite Sam is coming out free this fall. Did you get to watch the keynote, Patrick?
No, I was actually working. I went back and I listened to some of it, but a lot of it I just read a lot of the live blogs after the fact, just because we just finished our at work. We just finished our busy season, so I didn't really get to watch it live time. But I went back and read a lot of the blogs about it. I may actually, if it's uploaded at this point, I may go back and try to watch it this weekend, just to kind of, because sometimes it's good to see the showmanship. But I will say, from what I read, like you said, I think they're finally starting to add some features that make it actually interesting again. And so, statement still holds that I may actually look at getting an iPhone as my second phone.
Nothing wrong with that.
Especially if the Foxconn rumors are true of a bigger screen. Because, I mean, that really has been one of the things I just couldn't stand on the old ones.
You know what I'm going to be really interested in is just how they spin it. They always made all, and it may just be that Apple just kind of doesn't even address it. The elephant in the room. Mm-hmm. They always make fun of stuff until they do it, and then it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, we didn't create this. We just made it better.
Right. So, it may, but I'm going to call out all you hypocrites that told me that my phones were too big, and you'd never want a phone that big.
Especially if the Foxconn rumors are actually true about a 4.7 and a 5.5 option.
Right. And majestically, the typical response I get out of a lot of people now who can be just complete jerks about stuff, and why would you ever want that? You can't use your one thumb on the screen, and their typical response is just to dismiss things completely, like their whole argument from before.
Yeah.
It's like, well, who wants to use a phone one-handed? I mean, really?
I mean, for my use case, I really don't. I want it more for media and for consumption of other things that I'm using it usually in landscape mode.
Right. So it'll be interesting. I'm like I said, I'm excited. I mean, iOS and Android both push each other to have cool stuff. One of the features that I thought was really cool in iOS 8 was, even though I hate iMessage because it's kind of screwed up right now, the way that they're starting to do some of the integration with the desktop,
Which
like
is
actual native, integration.
Which is one of the reasons why I think it's got me kind of interested in considering it as a second phone. Being a Mac user, just having that functionality would be nice.
Yeah. And so, I mean, as an Android user, I have that stuff available to me also, but it's not well integrated yet. Like I have Google Voice and I have all that kind of stuff, Hangouts. We'll see after I/O if Google's pulled all that together. We're pretty much due to see the Google Voice integration at I/O. I mean, I can't see that we wouldn't see it, but the other thing I really liked was the family. It wasn't called Family Share, but basically your kids can send you requests to be able to buy things.
Just what you never needed. Although I guess in your case that's good because it's easier to say no than have to do it face to face with Miranda. Or they're giving you the pouty face.
Miranda needs to be an attorney. Let's just leave it at that.
Hey.
Argument for everything. No offense, Patrick.
Hey. That's exactly why people told me to go to law school.
So OS 10, and it's not Yosemite Sam. I was being facetious, but there are lots of.
It is called Yosemite, though.
Yeah, it is Yosemite, but there's a lot of people posting pictures of a screen with Yosemite Sam on it.
They just posted the mud flap.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I mean, I guess if they are continuing their tradition of big California landmarks and stuff.
Right. I mean, that one's kind of a, ice cream sandwich is kind of hard to say. Yosemite or OS 10 or whatever, Yosemite. That's lots of syllables.
All I know is Apple should be making all kind of deals when this comes out and do some cross promotional stuff with Warner Brothers for Yosemite Sam. Just saying.
They won't. Just saying.
Just saying.
Yeah. And some smartass put in the show notes Command-C, Command-V. If you're not an Apple user, that's like copy and paste. Because that's kind of what Apple did on some of their stuff. But it's okay.
Hey.
Some of that stuff we like. Right?
My thing is if it works, use it.
Yep.
And I mean that seems to be Google's MO with this is that, hey, look, we'll put it out there. If it works, you want to copy it, go ahead. Because we don't care. Our whole thing is just get more people using our platform stuff.
Right.
And Google's already shown that, you know what, iOS, Android, we don't care. We'll make an app for you. Windows Phone, maybe not.
So iOS 8 is also going to bring peer-to-peer AirPlay support, which means you don't need to be connected to a local Wi-Fi network to share stuff.
Which would be nice.
Yes.
I could see this also being nice taking, like, my brother-in-law and them, they have a camper. It'd be nice to take their Apple TV, hook it up, and just stream stuff from iPads and things like that to their TV.
Yeah, that would be nice. That would be very handy in something like a hotel situation.
Yes.
You wouldn't need to, like your Chromecast wouldn't need to connect to a Wi-Fi network.
That happens to be your phone, what you're trying to use. Yeah. Or in your case, your tablet.
Yeah, well, and in my case, as long as I've got two connected devices, I can do that, but it's still kind of a pain.
Yeah. it adds an extra thing to the equation. I'm hoping this peer-to-peer AirPlay support. This is one of the few things, and I was telling you this before the show. This is one of the areas where I'd like to see Google copy Apple and go, because I mean it's not something new. And let's not say this. This isn't something new Apple just created, because let's face it, HTC had this with the One X when it came out with its multimedia display dongle. It actually allowed for peer-to-peer connections without any Wi-Fi or anything, so that you could stream whatever's on your screen for like presentations. That was one of their big selling points, that you could plug this into a TV. If you're a business person, take your phone, swipe up, and put whatever's on your phone up there, whether it be a PowerPoint or whatever. And so, I mean, the technology's been around. It's just hopefully Android will take some cues, especially with I/O coming and the promises of some new Google TV stuff. This would be a great thing to have. Give us mirroring on Android. That's one thing we really haven't had.
Oh, I have mirroring on Android. You don't have that?
I'm talking about something that just works. Especially
like that? It works on Nexus 5.
Well, yeah, but you get what I'm talking about, though. It's something.
I'm being a smartass.
Because I mean, Allcast gives you a lot of pretty close to that. You can pretty much put whatever you want up onto a Chromecast, but it would be nice, especially if they could work it out with the Chromecast, because we know it has peer-to-peer, because that's how you set it up. Like you pointed out before the show. I mean, that's how you set it up, the Chromecast up in the first place. So to be able to use something like that to mirror your device, then you just take your Chromecast and plug it somewhere, wherever you went, and you'd have the same functionality.
Yeah.
Which the thing for me would be, if you can do this peer-to-peer stuff, and they do come out with some kind of new Google TV box. Well, I was telling you before the show, it'd be nice to see some integration where it could maybe take Chromecast to your Chromecast, so that you'd essentially have your own homemade version of kind of like DirecTV stuff without wires. Or I can't remember if it's Direct or Dish. They're big. They have the ads now.
Oh yeah, the Genie.
The Genie, and basically you could essentially have the same thing. Have whatever hooked up to your main Google box and just cast it out to your Chromecast at your other TVs, and use your phone as the remote to control it all.
That would be sweet. Man, that'll be in a couple years. We'll be sitting back doing that crap without any wires, and we'll just be like, I wish they'd do something cool. I'm bored.
I mean, it's there. The technology's there, so just go for it.
Right.
And that would be an awesome way for them to stay with integration, because Google TVs have always been good about trying to integrate your cable box and everything into it. Take a key from Xbox One as well as the new Amazon Fire, incorporate some voice control stuff in there, and you're good to go.
I'm down for that. You know what else I'm down for?
What's
Android 4.4.3. I only have it on 50% of my devices, and I'm kind of pissed about that. Not really. They pushed it out for the Nexus 5, but they haven't for the Nexus 7 LTE yet.
Huh.
But I mean, it's really a bug fix release, so it's not like, oh my gosh, I've got to have this, but oh my gosh, I had to get it.
You mean the thing that I'll probably never see when it comes to my Note 3?
Yeah. Yeah, you're never getting there. 4.4.3.
Especially since I'm on Verizon.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Bastards.
But the other devices that are getting it this week, all the Motorola, the X, the G, the E, those devices are getting it, and Google Play Edition devices are getting it as well, which is, fairly impressive. If you're somebody that cares about, timely updates, and you're not on Verizon, or even if you're on, I guess that's true, because the reason that my Nexus 7 LTE has not gotten an update, and I'm sure none of them have, is because of Verizon.
Well, I haven't got it for my non-LTE version of my Nexus 7 either, so.
Oh, well, it's out there.
Oh, I keep checking. It keeps telling me no.
Yeah, you may have to sideload it, but there's an OTA link.
I will say this. At least Motorola is showing they're going to push all this stuff out, which most of Motorola's devices are on Verizon. Although I think pretty much Motorola says whatever, and Verizon says sure. because of the Droid branding stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of a shame. I mean, I can't get a Nexus phone on Verizon, and so I'm using T-Mobile, and I'm perfectly happy with T-Mobile, at least for now. But and did I put that in here? No, I didn't. I just talked about it at the beginning. Sprint is supposed to be buying T-Mobile for $30 billion or something ridiculous, and I really AT&T would have been kind of bad. Oh, there it is. It's down there. Sorry. I see that now. I mean, Sprint just flat out is awful, atrocious. There's not enough words that I can come up with that are awful to describe Sprint. T-Mobile has really come a long way in the last several years as far as service.
I think the only thing that Sprint might have going for it is this would be the first big thing that the new owners of Sprint would be doing, SoftBank. So it'd be interesting to see, because I agree. Historically, the biggest thing with Sprint is they've tried to do as little as they had to keep coverage up. Yeah, they gave unlimited, but they piggybacked a lot off of Verizon for 3G. Their towers never had the bandwidth they needed for they tried to put too many people on towers with not enough bandwidth for their coverage. And so even if you had coverage, your data speed sucked. So hopefully this will kind of help them, because I think one of the things that might benefit from this is get them off of CDMA quicker would be nice, or at least the option to get off of it. So I'm cautiously optimistic that hopefully they'll keep some of the people that have made T-Mobile the turnaround lately, because that's been one of the things Sprint has done in the past, is try to they buy people out because they have good ideas. Unfortunately, those people then leave.
Yes, and that will, yeah. I mean, John Ledger has done an amazing job at T-Mobile for turning the company around. I was at a conference a couple weeks ago, and somebody from T-Mobile was there. One of their VPs of service was there talking, and I mean, he kind of went through the uncarrier stuff, and I already knew it, but it was very interesting to hear, how much their customer service had fallen and what they had been working on to try and pull that back up. And I'd hate for all that work to just go to hell because somebody bought them.
Yeah.
But I mean, that Sprint's methodology for conducting business is to just slap on as many people as they possibly can on the network and not worry about anything else.
Pretty much. You get a lot of basically unlimited sipping from a straw while everybody else gets fire hydrants.
Right.
So I mean, that may be one good thing that comes out of this, is you might see their philosophy of unlimited kind of come back to T-Mobile, in the sense, instead of doing the whole thing of bumping you once you get to 5 gigs. So that might be a benefit to come from it, and if they find some way to make it mesh for the towers, it'd be nice, because they'd suddenly have a lot more coverage.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've not run into any. I've got it's I guess a grandfathered plan now. It's $70 for true unlimited.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have a 5 gig soft cap or anything like that, and I even get 3.5 gigs of tethering or something like that. So I mean, for the money, it's a good deal, and if I'm not traveling, even when I travel, I didn't have any problems with T-Mobile. Of course, I was between here and Vegas, on an airplane and stuff. So
yeah,
I know if I went back to Alaska, then I would have some problems, because Verizon was struggling up there. But
yeah, let's say you might not have signal with anybody up there.
You really don't need coverage. I mean, honestly,
it's called radio.
Enjoying the scenery.
It's called breaking out the CD radios.
Speaking of enjoying the scenery, I think we're all excited for the Moto360 watch that's supposed to be coming out.
Yes. If I was better at Photoshop, I would definitely try to enter the contest to try to win a free one. But my skills are lacking.
They showed it yesterday in a video, just very briefly. It looks like you have an AOL CD strapped to your wrist. It is like the most massive. I, I I just can't even explain it how big that thing is.
It's all about the bling.
I mean, I guess, but I still want it.
Of course.
Man, I'll have it.
I
I look
mean,
like Randy Jackson, dog.
basically, it just looks like a high-tech Invicta.
Yeah, but I mean, it probably is the size of one of those 3.5-inch mini disc things. It just, or maybe it's just, I don't know. If you look at the picture, we've got it linked in the show notes, and it looks huge.
That's what she said.
Oh, thank you. Dum-dum. Something that caught me off guard yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Motorola just out of nowhere dropped the Moto Stream, which is basically not round Nexus Q.
Hmm.
It's $50. It has a pair of RCA jacks, and you and five, I think up to 5 of your friends can stream music or audio to it.
For people who played like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, it looks like a 20-sided die.
Yeah, I don't remember what they called it. It's something like a something hedron.
Like a decadahedron or something.
It was like an icosahedron. God, I don't know. I guess I could follow the link here. Hell, I may not even be able to say it because it's weird. Where is it? Where is it?
They call it a pentagonal prism.
Hmm. $50 though. I mean, that's not bad.
Eh, I've paid worse for a lot crappier crap.
That's true too.
You love the multicolor LEDs, so you have basically it's a disco hedron.
Just go. Specifications. Form factor. Icosahedron. Multifaceted. Okay. Cool.
And it has NFC pairing.
Yep.
So this way, there can be a DJ battle with you and your friends. Who's going to play what?
I don't know. I mean, all I wanted to do was be able to stream.
You mean like Google Music to your Chromecast?
Yeah. Unfortunately, receivers Zone 2 doesn't support HDMI or digital for the Zone 2, which is pretty stupid. But whatever. Stupid thing. All right. Let's see. Amazon phone. They did you see the video from Amazon today?
No, I didn't watch it. I saw the link for it, but I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Somebody on my Google Plus feed had post. I mean, they don't actually show you a phone. You see the very top of a phone, but he titled his post. It said something about people on Amazon discover their genitals. let me see if I can find the link, and I'll play it for you. It was hilarious.
I don't know about Amazon, well, their fork stuff. I wish they'd just get off their high horse and let us have Amazon Instant Video on Android. I mean, it's not like they don't they allow it on iOS, and they're basically running Android. Give it to us.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. At this point, it's just dumb. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can share this. Add video to playlist. No, that wasn't it. Get video URL. Copy. People know how to do this, right?
Hopefully. Is it the video that's you have in your link to the Android Central has on the article?
Yeah, are you seeing it?
Yeah, I watched it. I went to
Okay.
the link you had sent and watching the
Oh,
people
yeah.
looking down at the device and stuff.
But they're all just. I don't know. I just thought that was funny.
It's like, hey, look at this new iPhone.
Like they could be like, "Hey, look at my wang." Oh, sorry.
They're watching someone play Angry Birds. I could see someone taking that video and like adding sound effects to as though what they're watching.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm just not so sure about another lockdown Amazon device. I mean, I can understand the Kindle, but a phone, really? I mean, other than Amazon Instant and using it to read a book, what kind of benefit would you have for having an Amazon phone?
Well, the 3D
Amazon
stuff
Music,
is
maybe?
gonna be on it, Patrick.
Huh?
The 3D stuff is gonna be amazing.
Yeah. I just don't see the point of making the device.
We'll have to see. I mean, what if it's $50 if you're a Prime member?
And then they'll charge you $7 to ship it, along with the $100 now a year for your Prime.
You never know. I mean, they raised the price on Prime for some reasons. I mean, they're
I
making
doubt
more
it.
than ever off of me.
Yeah. I mean, I would really like the ability to have Amazon Instant, even if you're not. It needs to get on Android so we can have Chromecast support for it.
Oh, I totally agree, but they
I mean,
probably won't.
I've actually watched it more lately than I have Netflix.
I haven't watched anything on Netflix or Amazon Prime lately. I need to do that. But I know what you're going to be watching a whole lot more of, Patrick.
What's that?
Crunchyroll, because it
Yes.
has Chromecast support, and watch ESPN, which I am so excited about. No, wait. I'm excited about Google Photos because that's getting Chromecast support.
Yep. I think the bigger thing to be happy about is that all these apps are really starting to get support. So it shows that it's not a device that's going to just not get additional support.
Right.
Because as I was telling you, some of the articles are talking about because WatchESPN, you're going to see its parent company, Disney, is supposed to be coming out with the Watch Disney app. Will have Chromecast support. But the one I'm still waiting for is Slingbox. They told us back in March it was supposed to be coming soon, and we're still waiting.
Well, I don't know. It'd be nice when we get Slingbox support because I've got a TV out in the garage that
You could be watching whatever you wanted.
I'm using a stupid what is that thing? Netgear, some kind of streaming box, and it's just awful. I have to reboot it every time I want to use it. It takes me like 5 or 10 minutes to get it set up every time. Sometimes I just want to go out in the garage for a few minutes and piddle around. And yeah.
Especially after you're done washing the vehicles.
Right. I mean, because that's like an all-day project now.
If you do it right.
This is me, Patrick. Of course I do it right.
Well, yeah, that, and you also have to make sure your wife's is done right too. Gotta earn the points where you can.
That's true. Yeah. You got that right, man. All right. So we killed all that Google stuff. Now, I haven't played much Xbox One, but I did get an update this last night or this morning. And they're going to be adding the update added some support for external storage, and you could use your real name, and I don't remember what else. But they're getting some apps that we really care about, like HBO Go. Finally.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately it says by the end of the year, and we're only in the middle of the year, so that could be any time between now and never. But it is nice, the list, because I mean, another app they're adding, Crunchyroll. At some point, it's going to get to the point if they do the projects that they talked about having some form of backwards compatibility for some 360 games. I won't need the 360 anymore.
That just doesn't make sense to me though that they would spend all that time and resources to do that.
To do which?
The backwards compatibility with 360 games.
Because then they don't have to have hardware support for it. They can lay off a whole group of people and move everybody to the one division, so that they can just say, hey, you know that 360, we're not supporting it anymore.
There are so many of those out there, though.
Well, they've already committed to supporting it for 10 more years. But at some point, you have to move and have an option so that people can still play their stuff without having to worry about hardware support.
Right.
And there's probably some issues for them. It's probably cheaper to do this than it is to go through all the licensing to add it all to the digital arcade.
We'll see. But I'm excited that we're getting HBO Go at some point because I'm a legit HBO customer.
Me too. I have it just for one show.
That's funny.
But it's one of the best shows on TV, so it works out.
Something else interesting that they announced is that the Xbox Live subscription for Gold is no longer required in order to use Netflix, Go, or any of the other apps that historically are required that you have a Gold membership.
I'm sure there are lots of parents that had family accounts that are happy because the only reason they had Gold for themselves was for those.
Yep.
So I mean that's a pretty big step for Xbox. I mean, even from the original Xbox, they pretty much required Gold to do just about anything. Although the other nice thing the update brought for the One is you now have games with Gold for Xbox One as well, and they're not the same games, which obviously for reasons would be the case. In fact, I forget what one of them's like something Max Curse of Brotherhood or something like that, but the big one that I downloaded was Halo Spartan Assault. That's the free one right now. I mean, it's Halo.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even like top-down shooters, but I'll try it. It's free.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't like it later, I can always delete it.
Right.
And of course, the big one I'm looking for is the 360 one for the last part of the month, because of course I'm already curious to see what the last of the month for One's gonna be. But Street Fighter, break out some old school Hadouken.
I may just play that. I suck at it. I'm a button masher, but hey, whatever.
You can relive the glory days of being a button masher when you were younger.
Yes. I mean, that's basically how I rolled. All right, and then we already talked about the Sprint T-Mobile deal in our miscellaneous section, so I'll remind everybody right now that if you're not following us on social media, you should. You can go to google.com/plus the Simulcast or at the Simulcast on Twitter. You can follow us. You can actually follow Patrick and I as well. We interact with people on there all the time.
Yep.
Patrick is a snarky jerk, and I'm super nice all the time.
I'm the bad cop, you're the good cop.
That's it, yes. Isn't that how it works? Or it's something like that, I don't know.
It depends on the topic.
That's right.
If it's sports, I'm the good cop.
And I have no idea what anybody's talking about with sports.
Bill just comes out with the snarky. Is that like some NASCAR thing? Then no, I don't know about it.
Yeah. Oh, it's UFC? Okay, I know about that. You can also email us, podcast@thesimulcast.com, even if you just want to tell us how much you missed us and you're glad we're back. Just some words of encouragement. Anything.
Hey, if you
and leave us a voicemail, 203-903-CAST. Yes, Patrick.
And even if it's as far as voicemails, we love when it's 2. especially when one's drunk. That's for you, Clay. We missed your voicemails.
We're looking at you, Clay. Okay, so casting couch. I haven't had much time to watch much of anything, but I did. I've really kind of fallen back in love with car stuff here in the last 6 or 8 months, whatever, 9 months since I got my other car. And so I've been watching a lot of car stuff. And if you ever watch any videos on YouTube from the Drive channel, those guys, Matt Farah and those from the Smoking Tire, they shot a video, and it's kind of like a Top Gear type of video, but it's a full length. They call it a feature film length show, and they're basically taking a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a new one that Jeep gave them, and they go and they buy this really horribly crappy Jeep, and they're going to go on this 600-mile journey through the mountains and stuff, and I forget where they even are. They're out somewhere out. I think they're out west. Maybe they're not. I don't remember where they are, honestly, but it's about that kind of thing, and they break stuff and they drink beer and it's pretty cool. It was like $5 to rent, but the worst part, and I don't know what's going on. They had it on Vimeo, and I'm not a big fan of the Vimeo. I would prefer they use YouTube because it's easier for me to purchase
and throw it up on the TV.
Yeah, but so I bought it. I was like, oh, I'll go ahead and pay. I want to watch this. I didn't have anything else to do, and I started around 9:30, and it started to stream, and something was wrong with the stream in my browser, and it wouldn't go HD, and so I'm like, wait, there's a Vimeo app for the Xbox, not the one, but the 360. So I fire up the 360, install the Vimeo app, and I can't get logged in. Like, I tried on 3 different Xboxes. And so then I'm like, well, wait, I can just Chromecast it. So I Chromecasted from my tablet to this. Everything I tried just did not work. I finally ended up watching it on my damn tablet. So the moral of the story is, if you're going to sell movies or shows or whatever, put them on something that actually works. Vimeo is awful for me.
And something preferably that lets you watch it on a big screen.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
I feel you. Me, the show I've been watching, of course, as I was speaking of, the one show, the reason why I have HBO in the first place, Game of Thrones. Although, unfortunately, there's only 2 more episodes for the season, and I have to wait a whole year. Although, I guess waiting for the books, that's nothing. Movie-wise, caught this past week, finally watched the Lego movie. Figured, why the hell not? Especially with an app I may or may not have gotten from you that I may or may not have sideloaded and casted with all cast. And then this weekend I'm going to watch. I was going to go watch it this past weekend, but I didn't have a chance. I'm going to go try to catch the new XMen Days of Future Past movie. I've heard really good things about it, so I've got to go watch it this weekend.
Awesome.
I mean, considering who the cast is in that movie, I've got to go watch it.
I need to watch the first one. I've never seen it.
Which one? The first class?
Whatever the one was a couple years ago.
The reboot one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on that app that I may or may not have gotten from you.
I don't know what you're talking about. Showbox did not come from me.
But it may or may not, wink wink, yes it is, on that app.
Nice. And so, picks of the week. My pick this week is a battery case from Limefuel for the Nexus 5. And when I was going to this conference a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas, I knew I was going to be, stuck in a conference all day. I didn't want to have to worry about, charging up, finding a charger from a Nexus 5. I have plenty of, backup batteries. Like I got stacks of them here, but I didn't want to worry about carrying one of those around and keeping my phone plugged in. So I started doing some research, and I found the Limefuel case is basically just a slide-on case for the Nexus 5. So you put your phone in there, and the top clips over it. It makes it fairly bulky and fairly heavy, but it also doubles the battery life. And so I could go an entire day. So what I would do is at the conference I would have it on, and it was no big deal because it was sitting on the table most of the time, and I was checking my email for work and all that on it. And then when we'd get done at the conference, I'd go back to the room and take the case off, throw it on charge, and I was walking around with the fully charged Nexus 5 that was good to go for the rest of the night. Because, it's Vegas. You never know how late you're going to be out.
Or how early.
Right. And so I got it off Amazon. I think it was $70 or so. For me, it was well worth it. It seems to be well made. You can turn it on or off. I just left it on all day. That way my phone was charged up. I did use a hack on my I run Franco kernel, however you say it, with the USB fast charge, and it charged very quickly and no problems there either. So if you're looking for a way to extend the life, the battery life on your Nexus 5, which arguably isn't the best on any phone out there, that'll certainly do it. And for me, it was a good compromise.
Especially for those day long excursions.
Yep. Or if I was going to go to an amusement park or something, I don't want to carry a big bulky battery charger and all that.
Yeah.
This way I could still use the phone. It didn't look, it's probably as thick as my Thunderbolt used to be. Wasn't too bad.
Except for being a Thunderbolt.
Yeah. Well, this one actually, my Nexus 5 actually worked.
Yeah. It didn't randomly reboot itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feature. For me, my pick of the week this week is the WatchESPN app on Chromecast. I wish it would have been out last weekend, considering ESPN in their infinite wisdom decided college baseball needed to all be on ESPN3 for the weekend. So if you wanted to watch any games, you pretty much had to get on it. Not a big problem because of the Xbox One, but it would have been a nice in the other room to be able to just fire up the Chromecast and watch the games. I'm really looking forward to it for college football this coming year. That'll be really big, especially if they fix the mobile app to allow you to do the multiple picture like they do on the computer and on Xbox, where you can have 4 games open at once.
Oh yeah, that would be very handy. And maybe there'll be something like a spelling bee that I can watch on ESPN.
Because if I say there's not going to be 4 races in one day.
No. As close as we normally get is on the Indy 500 and then the Coke 600. That's
well, ESPN also, I think, don't they now? Is it them or NBC that shows the Kentucky Derby?
I should probably know that, but I don't. I think it's usually, it depends.
I think it depends on who buys the rights, because I think they alternate different years.
Right. But I don't know. I'm not much on sports, especially. The horse stuff I kind of keep up with because my wife and kids love horses. But yeah,
they're usually more about the jumping kind, though, right?
Yeah. They don't do a whole lot of anything. They kind of ride around and trot and canter, and they're not. Brianna does a little jumping, but not like jumping, just like stepping over objects in the way.
Not like the Mountain Dew commercial.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Yeah. All right, Patrick, where can everybody get a hold of we're not on the podcast?
As you said earlier, you can find me on Twitter, handle LSULaw2009. You can find me at plus.technicallylegal.net for everything else. You can also email me at patrick@thesimulcast.com.
Okay, and I am Bill Stebbins, at Bill Stebbins on Twitter, google.com/+BillStebbins for all my other social media information. That's going to do it for Simulcast 233. We are happy to be back. We should be here next week, and if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, be sure and hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Talk to you next week. Thanks.
Later, guys.